Hi everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new here, hi, I'm Madison, and we are in the middle of our Quantum Leap series where I'm teaching you guys how to shift identities and shift timelines in 30 days. I figured there would be a lot of you guys clicking on this video that are just like a little curious, so I wanted to pull a card for who this video is for. And currently I'm working with the Sacred Rebels Guidebook. The Sacred Rebels Guidebook is for people who don't fit into the traditional box of what society expects, and instead they choose to normally forge their own path. But at some point during that, there's definitely going to be this moment of fear, uncomfortability, or imposter syndrome, or whatever. And that's a lot about what the Sacred Fool is actually talking about. So here's our message. The Fool is a great rebel, able to thwart convention and tell the truth without restraint. Your heart is a wonderful, powerful, sacred fool. It cares not for the right thing to do. It cares not for what the mind says is real and not real. It lives according to inner wisdom that cannot be dictated or controlled by anything. It loves, it lives, and it is what it is. This oracle is letting you know that there's a time now or very soon to come when you will feel inspired, alive, and passionate for what you can offer to the world. It says to you, don't try to be appropriate, don't try to be socially acceptable, don't worry about what others may think you're doing, just be. If you wear a mad hat while doing so, that's fine. And you can see the card here is actually wearing a mad hat, which love that. Okay, so you know if this aligns for you now, right? So we're going to do a little healing process if this aligns for you, and then I promise we're going to get into the quantum work. But quantum work does involve a lot of inner work, not only to be able to work with divination tools, but also to be able to work with different healing modalities that are very non-traditional, but also are going to put you in a heightened state of awareness, right? So here's our healing process. Say, I call on the Sacred Fool of unconditional love. Please help me access your light of spirit, your wisdom, and your availability to exist in the heart of truth, to be powerful without becoming attached to or obsessed by power. I honor your vision. May I see and know truly so I can be free. I choose of my own free will to give myself absolute permission to just be myself now and always. Through unconditional love, mercy, and compassion, so be it. What I love to do when I'm doing work like this is I love to imagine that, like, maybe I've been wearing a backpack, and the backpack is like all these things I've been carrying, like other people's opinions, perceptions, whatever. And if this resonates with you, maybe just visualize yourself taking off that backpack, laying it down, and then maybe just like giving that like to your spirit guides, throwing it away, whatever feels good for you. But I love this. This is perfect for Quantum Leaping Day 9, 10, 11, and 12. So day 9, we're going to be doing something that is completely different than anything else we've been doing in this series. And up until this point, we have worked with different quantum concepts, but we have not yet started with working with quantum codes. And so today is the day we're going to start working with quantum codes. I want to give you guys a little bit of an explanation around what quantum codes are and how they work before we delve into this practice. So if you are familiar with the concept that everything is energy, and energy is vibrating particles at different speeds, and if you were to look into those particles really closely, you would be able to see things like sacred geometry, numerical patterns, things like that. And so you were able to use numerical and alphabetical sequences to sort of insert into like your chakra areas and allow yourself to tap into different things, right? So whenever I first started working with quantum codes, there were 2 main quantum codes that I started working with first. Those are the ones I'm going to teach you guys throughout this series. We're going to learn one of them today, and this is one that I feel like anybody can use because it truly is nothing but just channeling love and source energy and kindness and self-love and self-forgiveness and that sort of energy, right? So here's what we're going to do. The code is going to be NR42. And a lot of times when I'm writing with it or working with it, I like to actually just write it like that, NR42. I personally do it capital N, capital R42. And then I just visualize it being there like this giant piece of word art, right? that probably aged me. I don't know if word art's still a thing, but whenever I was younger, word art was like the way if you wanted to make like bubble letters, but we couldn't do it on a phone, you have to do it on like a desktop. Anyways, back to NR42. So what we're gonna do is we are going to put this into our heart chakra. And you can put it into any chakra that feels aligned, but the work I'm going to show you guys today is going to be focused around the heart chakra, and then you can use this practice anytime. So if you have ever done Reiki, this is going to be very similar to entering a symbol into a chakra. If you have not, I'm going to guide you through what that process looks like. So what I want you to do is get seated, get grounded, maybe close your eyes. Then I want you to visualize you're in NR42. Then I want you to visualize your heart space being a flower that is in the process of budding and opening. It can be whatever kind of flower you like. There's no right or wrong. Once you feel your flower fully opened, I want you to visualize you sort of finessing your code into the open flower or the open heart chakra. Sometimes when I do this, I feel like my chakra is almost just like, yes, I needed this. Sometimes I feel like it's something that I need, but might be a little bit having to work through blocks or barriers in order to get there. So it might take just like a little bit of finessing to get in if this is something that's new to you, or it might feel like it just goes right in. There's no right or wrong. And then as you're doing this, I just want you to take a moment to just sit in the energy. For me, whenever I use this code, I feel this feeling of just pure contentment and joy and bliss, and it feels like things are easy when I use this code, but it also feels like I'm in this almost heightened state of mindset, right? Where I'm able to tune out some of the 3D concerns or thought bubbles and more tap into what is the 5D purpose that I'm here to create, and really be able to just sit in that energy. So you can stay here for as long as you would like, and then you can come back tomorrow for day 10. Thank you guys for coming back for day 10. Today we are doing an exercise where I want you to pick 1 to 3 things that you really want to do but are outside of your comfort zone, and I want you to plan when you are going to do them in the next 6 months. I'll give you guys some examples. So for me, there are 3 things that I want to do in the next 6 months, all that make me a little bit anxious. So I'll take you guys through each one of them. We'll start with the easy ones. First one, I want to go scuba diving. And if you're like, what's the drum roll up to scuba diving? Hear me out. I have gone snorkeling quite a few times. I always wanted to do scuba diving. I love the ocean. I want to know all about the corals and the fishes. Like, I think it's so fun and so fascinating. So I wanted to scuba dive for a while, but I have this fear that I'm gonna go to scuba dive and the sharks are just gonna be like, finally. And like, they're not, right? And so that is something where this year I'm like, okay, yeah, this is something I've always wanted to do. And I'm not gonna let this like made up fear that the sharks are just like waiting to feast on me keep me from doing something that would be fun, right? But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I did find something that made me feel a little safer, which is they now make these, you can wear it on your wrist or your ankle, and it essentially puts off a frequency where sharks cannot get less than like 5 feet, or cannot get closer than like 5 to 8 feet from you because of this frequency. Anyways, so that I'm like, Madison, we know what the block is. We know we want to do it. We have this little, protection measure that's going to make us feel like mentally safe. So over the next 6 months, we're going to do it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't know where. Well, I do. I think it's probably gonna be in Hawaii or Thailand, but neither of those trips are booked at the moment. But I see those both being places that I go in the next 6 months. So that's my ideal, is one of those two places in the next 6 months. I have like a loose outline in my planner of what that looks like and when I would go and all the things. Okay. Next one, there is a Women in Wealth conference that I want to go to, and it would be something that would be, it's funny, I'll give you the backstory because you guys know I'm going to. So a couple weeks ago, I was telling my boyfriend, like, I really want to be able to, like, get in the room with, like, people who are doing and building things that, like, I want to build, and, like, learn from them, right? And just, like, be in that energy of just, like, anything's possible, and, like, be around really empowered women. And, like, I don't know what that looks like, or, like, how to get there, right? And, like, obviously I'm doing, you know, some of this on my own with, you know, building retreat spaces and things like that. But I really wanted something where, like, I could learn from other people rather than people learning from me, right? And not a couple days later, this girl that I follow, that I've been following a lot of her tips on how to sell, she is doing a Women in Wealth conference, and there is a speaker who I absolutely love and adore because I actually use her app for manifestation. So just like a lot of synchronicities where it's like, obviously you need to go do this, right? But a couple things, there's definitely a monetary commitment, which, you know, cue the like write-off audio. I don't know if you guys know the one that I'm talking about, and it's like, what's a write-off, you know? Okay. Number two is I would be going to a lot of events solo with a lot of people that I might feel might have more money or success or understanding or whatever than I might, and that might make me feel a little insecure. And that might be something where old me would have been like, nope, like, you know, it would be super cool to go, but like, who am I to go and like be among these like fabulous women? Like, so that's the backstory of this one, right? And so I've already, same thing, put it on my freaking calendar. I've already looked up what the flights would look like, all that, right? So we're doing it, we're making it happen, even though it's something that normally I would never go to, just because it feels really out of reach for the identity that I have right now. But I know it is not at all out of reach for the identity that I'm trying to build, right? So my third thing is I'm trying to get better at public speaking. So I definitely have the confidence to do videos like this and share things with you guys on the internet, and that feels really safe for me. What feels a little more uncomfortable for me is sharing my truth publicly in a live audience setting, right? And this year I decided, okay, I'm gonna get more confident with public speaking. And so far I think I've had 3 opportunities to do public speaking at different fairs that I've worked at and events that I've been a part of and things like that. But I noticed that I still am not confident. And I think the reason I'm not confident is because I've been going through so many different phases of like what my pitch is, right? Because whenever I'm doing these speaking events, I'm, you know, tailoring each of what I'm talking about to whatever product or service I'm going to pitch to them at the end, ultimately. And so I've really been just trying to like refine that. I don't feel like it flows, but like I want to get to the point where it does, right? So that's another area where I know that that's something where I have the ability to be really good at that, even though it's something that I don't feel I have the capacity to show up and do right now. It's something that I know that I have the possibility and potential to tap into, and I'm only going to do that by doing the damn thing and then being like, okay, wait, I can't do this. So same thing, I have 2 dates on the calendar of times that I am signing up to be a speaker at events that I'm working that are metaphysical, psychic fair type events. So again, we're just committing, we're doing it, we're not being scared, we're putting it on the calendar, because if it's on the calendar and I've already paid and booked and committed, like, we're gonna show up, you know, and fear might be with us and fear might be in this little bag. That's what I like to picture, is like, if I'm going to do something like this, I'll visualize like, okay, fear's gonna come with me because I haven't yet built the habit or the belief system that like I'm able to do this to the way that I would like to deliver, right? So I'm gonna acknowledge that yes, I have fear, but like I'm gonna take fear and I'm gonna put it in this little like side pocket, right? And like fear can come with me to the event for sure, but like fear's not in the driver's seat. Fear's not making the decision. Fear is gonna be there, and fear might come along for maybe the first couple times that I'm getting used to this. But I literally imagine myself being like, stop, nope, okay, fear, you are not in control. I'm gonna put you here, and I'll visualize myself like pulling out fear energy, putting it into like a little bag. Like, fear, I know you're not ready to leave yet because the nervous system system doesn't feel comfortable doing what we're about to do yet. So I'm gonna let you stay here, but you're not in control. So that's a practice that I personally do. And a lot of these practices I share with you guys are just like intuitive things that I don't know if it's like past life things that I've done or just intuitive practices my guides are giving me, but a lot of these intuitive practices I do share with you guys on this channel if you're new here. Okay, now that is all we're gonna do for day 10. So pick your thing that scares you, 1 to 3 things, plan to do it in the next 6 months, and put it on the calendar, at least the first step, so that way you're committing. And write it in pen on your dang calendar too. Don't write it in pencil. Don't write it in pencil, write it in pen. Okay, come back tomorrow for day 11. All right, let's talk about learning how to look for abundance in everyday moments. And it's interesting because I think so often I personally get caught up on the how of the abundance, right? I've been given a lot of big visions and big dreams and insight into what that looks like in terms of like my Akashic record, my soul purpose, and my soul mission. And there's immediately this like how, right? Because the things that I'm able to tap in and access and see that are, you know, in my long term, those things I'm not able to conceptualize how I would bring those things to life, or how I would have, you know, the resources or the funding or, you know, whatever to bring some of these dreams to life, right? And so I've been really caught up on like the how. And then I remembered that like money is infinite, money is abundant. There's literally so much money out there that people literally leave it on the floor. People literally leave money on the ground and they don't even bother to pick it up. So that's what we're going to talk about is instead of being in this state of, okay, how, what, you know, where's the money going to come from? Be in the space of noticing the abundance all around you. And here's how I kind of realized that money is infinite and like you don't even have to have like a job to make things work, and like you do but you don't, right? Here's the example. So I have a stepson. He is a little less than 5, let's say he's 4.5, and so he had this favorite monster truck that he got, and he lost the monster truck. And so he goes to Brandon and is like, hey, I lost this monster truck, I want you to get me another one. And Brandon's like, yeah, that's not like how it works. We're not just gonna run out and get you a new toy because you lost it. Like, you can ask for it for your birthday, whatever. So T's like a little frustrated, but also like, okay, I get that, right? So next day later, we're walking and he's like, there's money on the ground. I was like, yeah. And he's like, I see money on the ground a lot, but like, can I have it? I was like, yeah, if you see money on the ground and there's nobody around that like it's theirs, yeah, absolutely. So he starts getting money, he's putting this little 10 thing. Then he tells me that the reason that he's been doing this is because he wants to save up to get his monster truck. So literally, a 4-year-old is manifesting a monster truck with no job, no idea of how much change is even worth. Like when this first started, you guys, we had like 90 pennies, right? He's like, I have so much money. I'm like, oh, you know, because he doesn't get it, right? He sees like, oh, I have a lot of, you know, change. So that means it must be a lot, right? But it was so interesting because I was like, why am I freaking worried about money or where things are going to come from? There's literally so much money, like that people just don't even come back for it sometimes. Like abundance is everywhere, money is infinite. Why do we think that like there's not enough for us? Because there is, right? And so I hope that connected and resonated well, but your goal for today is to look for abundance in everyday moments. I don't care if that means you find 7 cents on the ground and now you have that. I don't care if that means that you're at the grocery store and you need like 2 more cents not to pay cash and the cashier's like, no worries, I got you. Like abundance, right? Look for it and it's going to come in larger and larger increments. When I first started doing this, I would look for, you know, little things like I'd go to the store and everything that I wanted to buy would be half off, right? Or buy one, get one free. And I would be like, no freaking way, right? Little things like that, right? Then it started to obviously become more and more things where I would be like, okay, let's see if I can manifest this specific amount of money because this is a specific amount of money that I need to make XYZ happen, right? And it builds, you get more specific, but spend a day, all you're doing is looking for abundance. Every time you see it, say abundance is all around me, abundance is my natural state, abundance is my birthright, whatever feels good for you. And I will see you tomorrow for day 12. Okay, day 12, we are going to do an outside activity. So pause and take me to a local lake or river that is near you, and I will give you instructions as to what to do next. look up local lake near me, local stream near me. There's lakes and streams all over. Personally, I live in a landlocked area and I can get to lakes and streams, right? So if there's not one around you, Google it. I bet you can get to one in like less than 20 minutes. So once you get to your lake or your stream, then come back, restart the video, and we will get on with the exercise. Okay, now that you are at the lake or the stream, what I want you to do is I want you to first sit down in nature, take a few breaths, and then I want you to think about the main limiting belief you've been trying to work through during this time period. For me, it has been throat chakra. Like right now, I can feel myself as I'm talking, my throat's getting very dry because I'm acknowledging that my block was showing up authentically and feeling comfortable being visible authentically, right? And so what I did is I went to the river, I sat there, and I grabbed this big black rock because it reminded me just of this like black hole of like imposter syndrome and fear and insecurity. And I grabbed the rock and I said, this rock represents my insecurity, my fear, my made up perception of what other people might think of me. And by doing this, we are working with the concept of quantum entanglement. So we are entangling those limiting beliefs and those things into this rock. Then we are saying, these things no longer serve me. Instead, I am going to release them, give them away, and we're going to throw the rock, right? Stick whatever you came up with. You can do this as many times as you need to release whatever you need to. But for me personally, I notice it works better if I say it out loud. Maybe pick a stream where you have the option to do that, or just accept that nobody really cared what you're doing. But normally I'll literally say it out loud, like, I release fear, I release anxiety, I release insecurity, I release needing to know the how, whatever, right? And I promise you are going to feel like 100 pounds lighter when you leave. So spend as much time in this as you need, and I will see you tomorrow for day 13.